Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Are you a film fan who loves the ultimate home video experience? Look no further than The Disconnected. Your host, Ryan Verrill, is your go-to source for the latest and most accurate information on home video releases, exclusive interviews with industry insiders and filmmakers, and has established a thriving community where every film and physical media enthusiast feels welcome. From hidden gems to blockbuster hits, The Disconnected brings you insider knowledge and a welcoming space to share your love of cinema. Watch every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific for the live announcements show and follow The Disconnected on social media to stay updated. Subscribe to The Disconnected on YouTube or on the podcast provider of your choice and dive into a world where every movie night is an adventure.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the three hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
We're in Wave Media.
Welcome to the Life and Times of Captain Barney Miller podcast. I'm your host, Mike White. Joining me, of course, is the rookie, Mr. Chris Dashew.
You'll notice I'm not in my karate outfit anymore. I gave that up long ago.
I'm glad that made a return. That was pretty good. But I didn't go back to look at the episode to see if little Rachel was in that or not.
It was only 5 years ago, Mike. Don't you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and Fish was here,
and Nick too.
Nick was here, yeah.
Sure,
you were here. You weren't you when you were here. Of course, we are talking about the episode Rachel. On this episode of the Life and Times of Captain Barney Miller podcast, we were covering 3 of the original Barney Miller episodes. Rachel, which dropped Thursday, February 26, 1981. Contempt Part 1, which aired on Thursday, March 12th, 1981, and Contempt Part 2, which was the following week, Thursday, March 19th, 1981. This one is going to feel like a little bit of a shorter episode, I reckon, because really Contempt Part 1 and 2 flow together very well. And then we have Rachel. We have the return of Barney's daughter for no real good reason. I don't think she's going to come back again, maybe ever.
That is correct, Bob.
Okay.
Here's what you win if you play Barney Miller's daughter. You show up 4 times in the run of 8 seasons of this show.
So it was the same actress.
Same actress from episode, what is it? 012 I think.
Oh, all the way back, huh?
So 0, 1, and 5. So The Life and Times of Barney Miller, Ramon, and the Courtesans.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was season 1. So actually, that was 6 years ago. Show, not 5. It's weird. I mean, well, look, it's not a weird episode, but the conceit of the episode is strange to me because I'm just going to put this, and Otto Bruno, I can hear you already. Barney Miller's family is not part of this show.
And wanted it to be.
I know, but they're not, and they're not in such a way that anytime this happens, which this has happened this season or last season where Barbara Barry shows up. It was season 6.
I think that was last season, yeah.
Anytime they try to do anything that kind of returns to commenting on where Barney Miller was early on in the run of the show is weird to me because it, again, like using traditional TV and movie storytelling techniques from the time, there doesn't need to be a character that walks in and goes, oh, I remember this place, and there's old Nick's desk. It's like, there are people that are watching this show that may not even know what the hell you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I know that's probably a smaller case, and people are screaming at me right now saying, it's not the case, Chris. But it's weird. The conceit of the episode is weird because there was never a moment in the last season or 2 where I was like, well, I can't wait for Barney's daughter to come back.
Whatever happened to Rachel Miller?
Right. Yeah. Go ask little Rachel Miller down the street. She'll tell you all about it. It's strange. Outside of that, it's a perfectly fine episode. Other than it has the mic of it all, which is like, oh, hello, where have you been this whole time? Like, it's that same shit that they did, we talked about with the Mike character so long ago, where it's like you're trying to inject characters into this show that have meaning to the other characters that we've never seen. And so, I don't know, she's fine, and Wyndham's fine as Rachel Miller, Barney Miller's daughter, but can we also just not do this storyline? Because where it goes is like, what a TV show from the 80s, huh? Like,
if there's a positive, it's that we finally get full confirmation that Barney is Jewish. I mean, we knew it, but like this one, they very pointedly, Wojo, don't date my daughter. Why? It's because I'm not Jewish.
Well, or the or as they would say, the implication that Wojo is a big man whore, I guess by Barney's approximation, because he's like, so what you're gonna do? You're gonna have sex with her, and he's like, what the fuck, man? Like, Barney, you focusing on your daughter having sex with Wojo seems to be your problem.
Yeah.
It's weird. He's never been defensive about anybody else up until now. And it's like, Barney as a dad just doesn't really work for me.
No. Well, and then there's that whole thing too where Wojo pretty much is like hitting on her and asks if she's a prostitute because he doesn't know who she is.
I was Levitt.
Oh, that's right. But I thought that there was a criticism of Wojo that he goes out with too many prostitutes.
Well, I just thought he just goes out with too many people.
Oh, well, yeah, but he does seem to enjoy the prostitutes that they pick up here at the station.
I mean, have you seen them?
Oh, I have. God, yes.
I know.
Many of them are gorgeous.
I know. Yeah, look, the idea that Barney is working late and unable to take his daughter out to dinner, so Wojo's going to do it, and I have a problem with that. It's just like this show of all shows doing that at this point is a little strange. Like, that has never been a thing that this show has seemingly cared about. I mean, again, go back and listen to early episodes of this show. Barbara Barry, criminally underused in this show, to the point where we stopped mentioning her because the show stopped talking about her, stopped billing her, stopped doing anything. And boy, I really would not have been like, oh yeah, Barney Miller's daughter is going to be part of that. But now she's kind of part of this conversation of, well, they really are playing to the idea that the original show's title was The Life and Times of Captain Barney Miller, right?
Oh yeah. We're back to that. Yeah, to your point, the rest of this is absolutely fine. I'm always glad to see Stanley Brock, and it was great having him back in this one. And then we haven't seen Ripner in forever, so it was almost good to see him, even though, I mean, he just plays such a disgusting character. I love Alex Henteloff, especially because, he was in one of my favorite shows of all time, MASH. He showed up at least a few times, if not just one very memorable time. But yeah, like, he's just so annoying. And this whole thing of now, Harris is trying to cast the movie and his people aren't backing him up when it comes to all this nonsense about Ripner trying to sue him for defamation of character. And you know what? Harris, you should have done a better job of obfuscating these characters.
Oh, his name is Narnie Biller? Whoa, who could that be? Yeah, it's like, yo, Harris, you mad fucked up on this one.
Oh.
Alex Henteloff has been on the show 7 times, 6 times as Ripner. 1 time, season 2, he did not play Ripner. He played Harold Polanski, which is weird to me because he has been playing Arnold Ripner since, you want to take a swinging guess?
First season,
episode 2.
Yeah. I knew
which is
around forever.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy because, I mean, almost to the point of talking about Barney Miller's daughter, to mention Alex Henteloff as Ripner is like, oh, yeah, by the way, this character's technically been here this whole time, too.
Right.
But even they kind of ignored storytelling tropes of the time, but then they address them. If he's not, but he is, but he isn't, like, I don't know, that's odd to me. Yeah, his character is such a just obvious, detestable lawyer dickhead character, written the way that a lawyer would be written on this kind of show, which we've seen over and over again, which is the most obvious kind of lawyer in the world, which is the ambulance chasing type, especially at this time in America in the early 80s. And yeah, I mean, he plays it perfectly, but to your point, like, ugh, what a nasty fucking character this is. What a detestable character. Because he comes into the precinct and just goes, well, I've got the law on my side, and I'm going to sue everybody, essentially. I'm going to sue Harris. He's going to sue the precinct, too. And then he's also trying to sue Stanley Brock as well, because it's the age-old thing of thief breaks in, gets injured by a home or store owner, thief then sues store owner, which was and is and has been a thing that has actually happened. Maybe not in the way that this episode has it happen, but I remember a story of a gentleman falling through a skylight while trying to rob someone, and him suing it's unsafe. Well, you're also on the roof of the business and you're trying to break in. So yeah, I don't know. It's such a weird episode because if you take the Rachel of it all out, it is a fairly pedestrian episode. But when you add her in, it all of a sudden becomes more of like a character study for Barney again. Like, let's see what Barney is like as a father. And it's like, that don't know how to put this show, but I don't really care. Like,
well, it's really, I mean, this whole episode is like this weird throwback thing that's going on, because even the guy that Ripner is supposed to be representing, Chuchu Malave is the actor's name. He was fucking Ramon. He was Ramon from those 2 pilot episodes. And he came back to also do, like, he was a gunman and another one. It might have been him and Don, why am I blanking? The guy from Return of the Living Dead. Don Calfa. I think he might have been Don Calfa's partner or something. I mean, but it was
Paul
just like
Lieber's partner is who he was.
But it's just like all these characters coming back, like, it's really odd. I mean, the only person that wasn't on the first season is Stanley Brock. He started in the second season, but almost everybody else is coming back from like those first couple episodes.
Yeah. It's
weird time to do this.
Yeah, I mean, the show is in its kind of twilight hour. It has about half of another season and one more season to go, which, with a show like this, is really not that much space left for the show. I mean, that's like 20, 30 episodes, which with this show aren't that much, because this show is not normally covering narrative ground like this. So that's the thing about this episode, and definitely about the next 2 episodes. And I would, concede, we've talked about Otto Bruno's book, The Files of the Old One too, which is available at Bear Manor Media right now. His book, and he has been on our show a couple times. Go check those episodes out if you've never heard them. But he talks about in his book, and he talked about it last time we had him on, about this season specifically. And this season kind of being the worst season of the show. Yeah, it kind of is, because these choices that the show is making are really antithetical to the forward momentum that the show has kind of been building in the last couple seasons. I don't fucking care about Barney Miller's daughter. Not because the show doesn't give me a reason to, actually far from it. I don't care because this has been a character that you're trying to make me care about at the last possible moment. She doesn't come back again. What a surprise. So why are you setting up this weird conflict between Barney and Wojo, which on top of everything else, that conflict feels like a throwback in and of itself, where it's like Wojo is sleeping around and Wojo wants to take my daughter out for dinner is essentially to Barney is Wojo wants to take my daughter out to dinner and turn her into a human pretzel afterwards. Maybe that is the case. Maybe it isn't. Yeah. But the fact that Barney is so bent out of shape that it's Wojo, it's like, but Barney, Wojo is like your right-hand man, and you have been through a lot as characters at this point. I would actually think if Wojo is taking her out, that's a better option than, I don't know, Arthur Dietrich.
I don't know, man. Wojo still can't get his shit together. He is consistently late, and it's like becoming more of the joke of the series is how late he is. And this one, it's like he finally comes in and he's like, "Oh, you want to hear my excuse?" "No." "Okay, well, I'll save it for next time because it was really good." It's like, okay, yeah. I don't really need you to be late every single time, Wojo. You can. And the reason he is late is because he's sleeping around with people, apparently.
Hey, he's doing the walk of shame back to work every day.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're wearing that tie, you'd be walking in shame as well.
and that piece.
The piece isn't as bad as it was a few weeks ago, at least. Like, it's lost the curl, but it's still pretty bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, at this point in the show's run, like, Max Gale's hairpiece is out of control. Like, he has never looked like this, and now he looks like this all the time, and we're supposed to just be like, yep, that's what he's been looking like this entire series. Like,
whole time, yeah.
Nope. The 80s of it all is coming through with the show. I mean, we talked about Ann Wyndham playing Rachel Miller. When she walks into the precinct, she looks like a character straight out of the 80s. Her outfit, the way she acts, it's more weird than anything else that the show all of a sudden feels antiquated. The moment they have a female character who's related to Barney show up, the show like shows its kind of antiquated sense of morality when she shows up. It's like, but we're back to the whole Barney's a protective dad thing, and Barney cares about the Jewishness of it all. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like I've gone on a journey with this character at this point that Barney should be like, Wojo is taking my daughter out. Okay. Like, in a city full of millions of people, this guy is taking on my daughter. Like, could be worse. Like, he's late, but he seems still rather well put together. He stopped calling sex workers terrible things. He doesn't show up in a karate outfit anymore, which stuff for me is the strangest thing to re-reference. Like, why?
Yeah.
What a strange choice.
Very strange. Some interesting topical references that I got a chuckle out of. One was when I think it's Stanley Brock is talking about how good the Jewish Air Force is. I'm guessing that he's talking about some of the conflicts that the Israelis had in the late 70s, early 80s.
We don't know anything about that now.
Yeah. This is before the Lebanon War of 82. Yeah, as opposed to what's going on now in 2024. The other thing I liked, I mentioned this very briefly, and I would not be surprised if you don't remember. We watched a Columbo episode that Mariette Hartley was in, and I was talking about all of the Polaroid or Kodak commercials that she was in. And Brock makes a reference in here about James Garner and that he doesn't like how Mariette Hartley is always bossing him around in the film commercials. So I thought that was kind of nice.
And I actually found, again, the moment where Ron Carey and Barney's daughter share together is weird. Yes. It's also strange because she's like, when I was a child, I would just climb on his lap and whisper in his ear, "I love you." And Levitt just goes, "Well, it's worth a try."
Yes. I was kind of hoping that would happen by the end of the episode.
Like, he's just a little guy. So, yeah. But I do find it funny that I guess Barney, in the grand scheme of things, has no problem with his daughter being plowed like a freshly tilled field by Carl Levitt. Because
that's the right last name.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. He doesn't have a lot of vowels in his name, does he? Yeah, but he just goes, "I'll see you tomorrow." And it's like, whoa, what? Yeah, but again, like, what a weird joke to make. Like, "I'll see you tomorrow. Pick you up at 8." Like,
right.
And Levitt just like
they're on a date,
yeah, and Levitt just like shit-eating grins Wojo Howitz. He's like, see? See, Barney likes me because I'm Jewish. It's just, yeah, I actually think that Harris is really underserved in this episode. And I think it takes away from his storyline.
Yeah.
Which I think for me so far this season really has been the standout at seeing kind of Harris's progression as an author. And this episode makes him look like a fucking moron, which I don't know if he deserves to look like, but look, if he was actually writing this book and actually doing it, they would have vetted it a lot better. They would have made sure it was a lot more airtight than having, the ambulance chasery lawyer from around town going, I'm going to sue you now. Like, okay, go fucking for it, pal.
If this comes back later, but the casting of the movie, I was kind of hoping that this was going to be Ron thinking that he's going to get a movie made out of Blood on the Badge, and then something happens other than Ripner that causes it to go tits up. That's what I was really hoping this whole thing would be, was like a whole story of, oh, I would cast this person for Levitt and I would cast this person for Wojo. But we just get the Barney stuff and then Dietrich being played by Charles Nelson Riley, which made me laugh quite a bit. I found it so strange that the trivia for this on IMDb, Barney talks about how he would like Roy Schneider to play him. And he's like, well, he played a cop already. And so my mind immediately went to the French Connection. But whoever wrote the trivia for this episode was like, oh, yeah, Roy Schneider played a sheriff in Jaws.
That's what I was assuming it was. Yeah, I've never seen the French Connection.
Oh, okay. Well, there should probably be a good video about it out on YouTube about you never seeing it.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I wanted this episode to be better. And I think, again, like the subject material of the episode and the idea of interjecting Barney's daughter into everything does not serve this show well at this point, which I think, again, like I mentioned already with Otto's book, Otto makes a very clear case as to why that's the case, which is the people running the show just making very different choices this season, and most of them don't work is the problem. The show, I mean, look, this is the same season of the show that started with a guy getting gunned down, like shot in the head, blown away.
And then the whole place becoming a homicide. Yeah.
Like, it's odd. And this is another odd thing in a long line of odd things that this season has done.
I don't know if it's in this one where Harris says that he owes Ripner $5 million.
It is. It's the end of this one.
This one. Okay. Because there is reference in the next episode, the two-parter, Contempt Part 1 and Part 2. There are references to the previous episode, to the Rachel episode in that episode, which I thought was nice. And then it's also the return of Ray. Which was fucking fantastic. I mean, we've sung that actor's praises many, many times, John Dulligan, and he is so great coming back as Ray, a changed man wearing his Salvation Army uniform. I kept waiting for him to admit that he stole it and that he was the thief, but he's not. Thank goodness. He has turned his whole life around, and it's fantastic. I just really was happy to see him in this new role.
Yeah, so he's been playing this character on the show because he was in a couple early seasons just playing random one-off characters, but he's been playing this character since season 5.
Yeah.
And he's shown up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times because he's been in a bunch of the two-parters. I think it's interesting because, again, like this is the kind of narrative choice that I vibe with this show, which is you're bringing back a character that's already been into the precinct to have another go at it with the guys in the precinct. I'm all on board for that. Like that is the kind of storytelling that I appreciate with this show, at least the long-term storytelling that they're doing, which is reintroducing certain characters and certain ideas back into the show that we've already seen. And yeah, John Dulligan as Ray is interesting. I don't think they do enough with it.
They don't do enough with his supervisor. This whole thing of like, so for folks listening at home, so Ray is now working for the Salvation Army. Salvation Army is getting hit by burglaries all over the town. And what's really strange is that, and I didn't look this up, the burglar because they eventually do catch the burglar because it's Barney Miller and he always gets his man. I think that's his slogan, right?
Right.
Barney Miller always gets his man. It's J.J. Barry is back, and he's playing a character named Arthur Duncan. That's not like the nice thief that we just saw, right?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So he became a dickhead after he was so nice in that previous episode?
Are you talking about the end of movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
that was him. Yeah, and now he's
Jesus
back.
Christ.
Yeah, it's that's what I was saying. Like, I don't get the shows I like it's like picking and choosing. Right. We're gonna keep narrative connectiveness with this thing, but not this thing. It's like,
I don't get that whatsoever. That is really silly because I liked his character of yeah, that's right. He was the guy who he saved fucking Wojo's life.
Yeah.
And then he starts talking about like how he volunteers at Big Brothers and all this kind of stuff. So him suddenly deciding to rob the Salvation Army is completely antithetical to his character of the guy who is a thief, but really shouldn't be a thief because he is morally just and upright. He just doesn't realize it. That's a funny character. Don't take him and then turn him around like, what, 5 episodes, 6 episodes? Because it wasn't that long ago. It was movie part 2, I think he was in. Don't turn it around and have him come back and rip off the Salvation Army. But what I was going to say, as far as like the Ray's supervisor, she's like, oh yeah, no, we don't need any help. And then basically it's like she does that like 2 or 3 times. We don't need any help. Ray, come on, let's go back. And then I can't remember if it's Wojo or Barney is just like, shouldn't we be stopping this guy and helping him out? How could we help him unless we actually catch him? And she's like, oh yeah, no, you're right. I was like, what? Wait, what's the conflict with this?
Yeah. And that's what I meant. Like the way that they use the Ray character is strange. Because again, like it should have just been him, but then they bring his supervisor in, played by Maggie Brown, and she ends up taking away the focus from his character, and shockingly becomes a love interest for Wojo.
Shocker of all shock. If anything, she should have been a love interest for Dietrich. Right. Because he likes those pure women. And I was really hoping like he'd be like, oh, so do you take a vow of chastity?
There's a reason that they call me Big Arthur.
That's right.
And it's not because I'm 6 foot tall.
They call me the Nun Breaker.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good name. Yeah. Arthur Dietrich's Big Wang. Yeah. But that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing. I don't understand why you focus on Wojo. Because again, like you just had Wojo having a love interest with Barney Miller's daughter. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, well, nah, actually, he's back to his old ways. It's like, then what is the fucking problem here if Barney's not going to point that out at any point?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, why can't Barney point it out? Because Barney is in prison.
Oh,
with William Wyndham as his cellmate.
His never seen cellmate. I was waiting for him to show his face at the very end or something.
Nah. But, yeah. Can't show William Wyndham's face because I don't know if you know this, Mike, but he wasn't there.
Really? You're saying that was all post-dub?
Whoa, right? I know. What a time. 1981 was a crazy time.
I know. The special effects industry was really taking off. I mean, we had Star Wars in 1977, and now we've got William Wyndham as the unseen prisoner here in 1981. Wow.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's wild. Do you know what it was? He probably took Dexter's invisibility formula.
Oh, I was going to say, or maybe it was because of the addition of Alice in Wonderland and X-rated musical's own Larry Gelman in this episode as a, quote, movie. Ugly man, unquote. What a bizarre side tangent, because Harris shows up with Larry Gelman and goes, he was being a pest at a high-end restaurant that was clearly discriminating against him. That's what I don't get. Like, how did nobody just go, get Arnold Ripner in here right now? Because this is the kind of shit that Ripner would get off on.
Exactly. This is, he should, because that guy is a total smug asshole, the guy that runs the Good Looking People restaurant.
Oh.
And like, yeah, what was it? The little guy strangled one of the waiters, so they had to fire him because he had a bruise. They were like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah. I don't understand some of again, like the decisions that they make are so strange because that is a fun side tangent that totally works within the world of Barney Miller. But Barney going to prison doesn't work at all. It's
so strange to be out of the precinct after all this time. We haven't left the precinct for like years now.
It's the most
suddenly
misguided attempt here to be like, we're going to inject some new life into this show by sending Barney to the one place he's never been, jail. Like,
yep. Well, and the thing that kills me is he should have been in a cell with somebody that he had sent to jail, whether we knew this person or not. But instead, Wyndham just has this whole fantasy thing that he's talking about and like puts Barney into that. I'm like, no, it should have been somebody should have slipped and called him Captain Miller. And then it's like, oh, that's where I know your face from. You were the guy that sent me away or something like that. I mean, we had kind of that with Christopher Lloyd. I'm thinking of Taxi. We had that with Christopher Lloyd where he was like, oh, you ruined my life because you arrested me the one time. It should have been another person with an axe to grind.
I was on the plane and you were the crying baby and I didn't get any sleep. And now I'm going to take it out on you by crying in the seat next to you, which is a bit from Tim Robinson's show on Netflix. But it bears in comparison to what that episode that you're talking about is, which is where this should have gone with Barney, which is you have Barney Miller go to jail, to the New York County lockup. He doesn't go to Sing Sing, thankfully.
He doesn't go to Tombs.
Yeah. And you don't have him run into someone from a previous episode. Like, does that shit not write itself? Do we want to go back in time and be like, hey, writer's room of Barney Miller, let's give you a free idea? I guess I don't understand why that wasn't the eminently obvious idea, really.
It should have been two people. It should have been somebody that holds a grudge against Barney and is really angry at him and is threatening him and all this. And it should have been another criminal who was way worse in the past and that he's seen the light in prison and he protects Barney. And it should have been either like a really short guy, like this guy in the cell, or somebody super huge and like scaring away this other criminal. That should have been part of it, you know?
Instead, they literally just go back to the same well over and over again, which is Barney standing in the cell, having to react to someone else doing William Wyndham's eventual lines, which is really what it is. And then they took it out in post and they, like we mentioned, post-production just dubbed William Wyndham in, which is fine.
I can't believe they did that. That's wild that they could do that.
Get the fuck out of here. It's a very lazy trick and it's a cheap one. But I get it, but it kind of robs the episode of any emotional opportunity to have some sort of interesting conversation with Barney being in prison. If you're going to have him, let me rephrase this because everybody, or not everybody, but those of you who know what the difference between prison and jail are, Barney is not in prison. He is in jail. He's in the county lockup, which is not prison. Prison is Sing Sing. So he's in jail. He's essentially in temporary holdings. And they treat it like he's in prison, which is a problem because if he were in the New York jail lockup, he's thrown into a cell with a bunch of people. It's not thrown into a cell with one other person. That's prison. He's in jail.
Yeah. Well, it should have been he goes to prison. Why not?
Right. I mean, at this point, send him to prison for something, a complete fucking misread situation or something. He looks like somebody else or something. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Somebody witnessed something. Yeah. Something like that. Or like another case comes back or fucking Scanlon somehow sends him to prison or something. You know, there should have been something about this. Because even when it comes to the bus that he's talking about with the cocaine dealer, I'm like, I have no memory of this. Was this in a previous episode or are you just making this up whole cloth?
It feels like they're making it up because there was that drug bust with the cocaine. And I think it was a black gentleman whose cocaine it was. And they were like, well, you know, he was like, you guys could just make the cocaine disappear and take it.
That's right. Yeah. Because it was fucking, what's his name? Oh, God, the hero of the 3-episode run here.
Oh, Dorsey, yeah.
Paul
Lieberman.
Dorsey was like witnessing all this. And he was like, is that enough for you to believe that I'm a straight cop now? Yeah. No, there was nothing to do with sources, nothing to do with any of that stuff. So yeah, it's just, again, like you couldn't have done a better job with that. It could have been another case.
Well, and I find it also very weird that the reason the judge sends Barney to jail is not a real reason he would get sent to jail. You are not supposed to reveal your confidential sources to anybody. That's why they're confidential. Like, the idea that the judge is like, well, I'm mad at you for not revealing your confidential source in front of the courtroom, in front of everybody, is asinine, frankly. And then they go as far as to say, like, well, here, some time in the icebox will cool you off, motherfucker, is essentially what the judge says. And it's like, Barney is just doing what any one of us would do, which is you don't reveal your fucking confidential sources, because what happens when you reveal a confidential source? They don't become confidential anymore. And especially if they're ratting on other people in a drug bust, there's a 9 out of 10 chance that if they rat on that person and that their identity comes out, they're going to get killed or murdered. So why you're just like, well, we're going to punish Barney for doing the right thing. Like, I get that that's kind of the conceit of the episode, but it's only used for two scenes. They really don't make it a point to show that, like, the wheels of justice have kind of come off here and Barney's being unjustly punished. They kind of just go, nope, the judge is just a dick and just doesn't care. And on top of everything else, you're telling me that Barney's in jail and we don't get a scene with Luger coming to see him and or previously mentioned Scanlon coming to gloat? You're telling me that these are opportunities that are fucking missed by this show? Like, guys, you've had these characters on the show for fucking years at this point.
Well, Miller, looks like they finally caught up with you.
Right! We could write the scene right now. Well, I'm only in here as a mistaken identity. That's what they all say, Miller. Like, there you go.
I remember one time Brownie got in a whole lot of trouble and they sent him to the Hooskow. You gotta watch yourself though, Bond. Don't let them drop the soap around here.
That doesn't help me now, Luger.
They dropped the soap. You just let it be, all right?
Thanks, Luger. I'll keep that one under advisement.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they do make a to use a parlance, a butt rape joke.
Yes.
Multiple butt rape jokes, because they take his soap on a rope away.
Oh yeah. Well, and I was really hoping, because like the cops that book him aren't that funny. Like, one doesn't even have any lines. He's just writing down the stuff. And I was really hoping, like, when I first saw him from the side, he has a big fucking mustache. I was like, oh, is it fucking Zatelli? Wouldn't that be great to have Zatelli back? No.
Just some dude.
Yeah, just the dude. And then the other guy who just seems kind of put out by stuff. And again, not funny. He's no Frank Oz from the Blues Brothers, you know?
Right. I do like the Dale Robinette, Matt Hagen character of this, like, Chevy Chase somewhat lookalike. Like, I saw that guy and I was like, he looks like we have Chevy Chase at home. Like, Timu Chevy Chase. Like, really, like, I mean, I know they couldn't get Chevy Chase for a whole host of reasons. Namely, he was too busy making Modern Problems. Like, this is 81. But he really,
Chevy.
Yeah, he has that energy of, like, just this, like, smug dickhead. I liked that character. They don't do enough with him. He's kind of a one-note gag too.
Yeah, he, like I said, he doesn't get his comeuppance whatsoever, and he so should, you know. And the guy who's in jail, he's got some of the best lines. I was just like, "What? I'm no Gavin McLeod."
Would it surprise you to learn I'm 41? No. He's just saying that.
The whole thing about the Elephant Man. Well, I haven't seen the movie, but I understand it's good.
That's pretty great. I will say we find out another thing about the precinct. Apparently, for some reason unbeknownst to us up until this point, there's been a grandfather clock behind the door when it opens.
Yeah.
Isn't that convenient?
Yeah. All right.
I mean, hey, it's just like Mike, there for one episode to serve a purpose, and now he's gone.
The reflection, yes.
Yeah. I've never noticed it until now because it hasn't been there. Because it has literally not been there until now, because I can guarantee you if we go back last episode, or the last time that shot is used, where it's kind of a wider shot and we're just to the left of the door a little bit so you can see through the door when it opens, guarantee you there's no clock there at all. Just like the goddamn windows that are all of a sudden here in the episode that I have to think about all the time.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah. But seeing outside of the precinct was weird in and of itself, frankly. But we didn't see much, you know?
No, just the room where they book them, and then the hallway, and then do we see... Yeah, I guess we get to see the room where they come and visit him.
Right, which is a pretty good scene in the second episode.
Yeah, which was nice because you also get a nice hostage reference with the yellow ribbon that Levitt's wearing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, oh, look at you have a great family, I think is what somebody says to him when they're visiting, which is, I found that scene to be very charming, but at the same time, like, I don't know, like this season, they've really fumbled a lot. And this is just another fumble in a long line of fumbles because, I mean, again, Barney going to jail is a fun idea.
Yeah.
But you gotta give us more.
Like a face-off, you know?
I'd watch that. But I don't know, like the idea, there were so many things left hanging that they don't do. And the things that they do aren't particularly interesting. Like, it's clear Barney hasn't showered the whole time he's been there. Like, they don't really acknowledge that. Like, I don't know. Like, they don't do a very good job at making us understand why Barney's in prison. They just go, oh, he's doing the right thing, and now he's in prison. Like, okay.
Well, they don't even do a great thing when it comes to back at the precinct. Like, Arthur is being a total jerk to Harris, but I don't think that it's not bothering Harris nearly enough. And Arthur's not being that much of a jerk, but just like the handwriting stuff instead of typing it, or like just kind of refusing to do some of the things that Harris is asking him to do, or just being very lackadaisical about stuff. It's like, all right, that should have been like a real tense relationship, and like suddenly Harris has to learn what leadership is like. And I kind of like this idea of sending out one of the guys to go to the Salvation Army, go undercover, like either as one of them, as one of the Salvation Army people, or as somebody that needs help. And then you catch the criminal that way. And it's like, that could have been a whole episode, but it really isn't. Like, it should have been like coming back in and you are dressed one way and like, oh, I got offered charity or something. Like, there should have been jokes. I guess that's my whole thing. There should have been more jokes in this episode.
You got joke show, you don't got jokes is the problem. Yeah. It does have jokes, but the idea of the four of them taking time out of their busy schedule to come visit Barney is like, it's a funny gag, but again, like, also in reality, it makes no sense. Like, because
and then it gets sad when they're like, did you visit Barney? No, I didn't. Oh, yeah, I guess he spent the whole weekend alone, and they should have been devastated.
Right. Guess not. Guess they don't care. That's the thing. Like, you're telling us that there should be stakes here. And I'm not saying that there aren't, but in this show, you don't need that. There don't need to be stakes in this show. Like, it would be like for me at this point in the show being like, oh no, Wojo Howitz got shot. Whatever will happen. Like, nothing will happen.
Right. Exactly.
Nothing. Barney going to jail means effectively nothing for the show. Unless they bring it up again, which this was a 50-50 chance of that happening. I don't see the point of sending Barney to jail because they don't do enough with it to justify A, a two-parter, and B, not only is it a two-parter, but in the second part, it ends up taking up all of the time that could have been used for a storyline that is set up in the first episode, the John Dulligan stuff with the Salvation Army. It's so poorly handled because they give all the time to Barney, which in and of itself ain't great either.
I would have loved if Harris comes in and he really starts to feel the pain that Barney feels being the leader. But then he takes Wojo aside and says something to him that really hits home with Wojo, something that Barney wouldn't have been able to say to him. I don't know what it is. Maybe just like, hey, when you come in and you're late, you make all of us look bad, not just yourself. So think about that the next time you come in late or something. Like some sort of way that Harris is better than Barney, but then he's also so much worse than Barney in so many ways. And when Barney's back, it should be like, oh, thank God you're back. You know, like as it is, he's settled into the office. He's got plants. He's got artwork. He's got all that. That is a funny thing. I laughed out loud when Barney comes in and his whole office has been taken over. Okay. But like, again, there's not enough jokes after that. Yeah. I laughed a few times very hard while I was watching this, but nothing very sustain.
Yeah. No, same. And this show, I think, is known for actually allowing the situational comedy to play out and actually get some interesting jokes mined out of it. Because ultimately, that's all this show does is you set these characters up into a situation and you mine the comedy out of it. It's a sitcom for a reason. And I think the show has kind of lost sight of what makes the show funny this season. I think it really has come down to the show is a lot more narratively driven than it was before, and weird choice. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad choice. I'm just saying they didn't execute it very well. This is a perfectly advisable choice to make in the 80s. If you wanted to do a little bit of a different way of doing storytelling and, again, kind of pushing the envelope for a show that didn't have narrative through lines and you wanted to add that to your show, cool, fine, perfectly fine. They don't do a very good job of doing that. And again, this show doesn't need it. This is not something that the show needed. And I think you can kind of see like how blood donors or like organ donors reject the bot. It rejects the organ. That's what it feels like. The show is really rejecting like these things that it can't figure out how to use, and they just kind of stick out. And the show taking everything so seriously all of a sudden, it's just strange. Doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I want a joke, and then I want another joke, and then I want there to be a little pause, and then I want a third joke that makes a reference back to the first joke. Is that so hard?
I guess so. I mean, I think we both understand now why Otto dislikes this season so much. It really does feel like now the reins aren't in the hands of people I trust. And what's weird is, if you go and look who wrote these episodes, recognizable names. Yeah.
It's not like they suddenly switched everybody in the 7th season.
Nope. Directed by Noam Pitlick, written by Frank Dungan, Jeff Stein, and Danny Arnold. Like, if anything, these should have been the best season because Danny Arnold is back. He is operating in full form. And instead it's like, let's do something different with Barney Miller. Okay, what are you doing? Well, it's going to be a serious cop show now with some jokes. Well, why? Why are we doing that? I have not found out a good reason why they decided to change the show like this, because it's just doesn't work for me. Doesn't work for you clearly either. The show has become kind of unfunny in this 7th season in a way that I was not expecting, because I think the one evergreen quality of the show up until the 7th season has been it can get a laugh out of me every episode. Not the case anymore.
Well, the good news is we only have 6 more original episodes to go through in this season, which will take us 2 of our podcast episodes to cover. When we come back next month, we're going to be talking about The Doll, Lady and the Bomb, and Riot, all from late March and early April of 1981. Hopefully they'll be a little bit better. That's what we can hope. Until then, Chris, what is going on with you, sir?
Everything that I'm doing can be found at weirdingwaymedia.com. Weirding Way Media is the podcast network that you and I started 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now. I know, it's pretty crazy. And there are over 20 shows on the network, including pop culture shows, true crime, paranormal, supernatural, and kind of everything in between. If you can't find it on Weirding Way Media, you might not want to be listening to it. So that's where you can find the things that I work on, weirdingwaymedia.com. What about you, Mike?
Well, I host a little show called How Did This Get Made? Me and my 2 friends, we like to yuck it up, talk about movies, just kind of make fun of them, take them out for a walk, just kind of beat them up a little bit, punch them in the alley, that kind of thing. It's pretty funny. And we get some awards and accolades out of it, so that's pretty good. But that's not on weirdingwaymedia.com because I don't believe in supporting the network.
Oh, got it. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your continued support.
Find that over at earwolf.com. So there you go. Until we talk again next month, Chris, I want to thank John Walker for our theme music. And I want to thank all the good people that listen to this show and hopefully know that I'm kidding around when I talk about how did this get made.
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
The audio commentary. It's a dying art form, but here at One Track Mind, I, your wonky yet affable host Ryan Luis Rodriguez, analyze film through the prism of these embryonic forms of podcasting, one audio commentary at a time. Masterpieces, crapster pieces, live action, animation, cult classics, films literally no one has ever heard of. No track is too small and no track is too big. Join me and my guests from the entertainment world as we keep these features alive every other Tuesday. Hey, who else is going to discuss Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey one week and Citizen Kane the next? Us, that's who. Sure, you have to put up with my voice, but there's a certain give and take in this industry. That's One Track Mind, part of the Someone's Favorite Productions family, and available wherever you get your podcasts.